Oh my lord, this can't be real. A ship lifted hundreds of feet into the air, and not by magic, by Chinese engineering. This isn't some sci-fi movie plot. This is the Goupitan Ship Lift, a mind-blowing feat in China that's literally moving ships over a mountain range. Yes, you heard that right. Over a mountain. Welcome back to Super Build, the channel where we uncover the wildest, boldest infrastructure projects reshaping the planet. China now controls nearly 1/3 of the world's hydropower capacity. 1/3! That's more electricity than entire continents can generate, and it didn't happen by accident. Across this country, dams don't just hold water, they dominate record books. The ThreeGorgesDam, the Goupitan Dam, the Guizhou Dam, names that keep energy analysts in Washington and Brussels up at night. In fact, the 5 largest hydropower stations on Earth, all of them are Chinese. And today, you're about to witness something so insane, even US engineers are scratching their heads. Picture this. A massive cargo ship glides into a structure the size of a skyscraper. A heartbeat later, it begins to rise, slowly, relentlessly, until it's nearly 660 feet in the air, the height of a 66-story building. Pause for a moment. Imagine lifting a 500-ton vessel, not with a crane, not with a helicopter, but through what's essentially a vertical canal carved into a mountain. That's what China has built, a triple-stage ship elevator system that conquers the impossible. It links the lower and upper reaches of the Wujiang River, turning a 4-day back-breaking detour through mountains into a 2.5-hour journey. The system is part of the Goupitan Hydropower Station, a dam rising 763 feet tall, taller than the Washington Monument and almost on par with New York's Chrysler Building. The lift itself spans nearly 656 feet of vertical travel, making it one of the tallest, most sophisticated ship lifts on the planet. Foreign experts shake their heads. Why build something this extreme? The answer is brutally simple. China doesn't see obstacles, it sees opportunities. Where the US would spend decades drowning in environmental reviews, China drills through mountains and bends rivers to its will. This is not infrastructure for tomorrow. This is infrastructure for the next 100 years. Now let's peel back the curtain and see how this monster actually works. Because it isn't magic. It's cold, hard, mechanical genius. Step 1. A vessel, sometimes 500 tons of steel and cargo, slides into a chamber the size of a small swimming pool, 40 meters long, 12 meters wide. Think of it as a floating bathtub built for ships. The chamber fills with water, turning it into a mobile river segment. The ship just floats inside, as if nothing unusual is happening. Step 2. The real power kicks in. 256 steel cables, as thick as a man's arm, grip the chamber. A gear rack climbing system, combined with vertical nut columns, begins its slow, relentless pull. It's not fast. Each stage takes about 30 minutes. But it is unstoppable. One miscalculation and thousands of tons could snap free. And yet the precision is so tight it stays within plus or minus 10 millimeters. That's the width of a pencil. Step 3. The climb. The ship ascends not once but 3 times, stacked like a stairway to the sky. From the riverbed up nearly 199 meters, higher than the Statue of Liberty, higher even than the Great Pyramid of Giza, what once took 4 days of winding through deadly mountain gorges is now compressed into 2.5 hours. And here's where it gets even more insane. This system is designed to survive an 8.0 magnitude earthquake. Picture that. While buildings crumble, this lift can still raise a fully loaded vessel as if nothing happened. The safety system? A world-first gear rack plus nut column, design that locks everything in place, even under extreme stress from tremors, wind, or waves. Foreign engineers look at this and can't believe it. An American infrastructure specialist joked, "In the US, this project wouldn't even get past the first environmental impact report in under 20 years. But in China, they don't wait, they build, and they deliver." The result is a shipping artery so efficient it has been nicknamed the Golden Waterway of Guizhou. Annual freight capacity? Over 5 million tons, an economic lifeline pumping energy, resources, and wealth straight into the heart of central China. This isn't just engineering, it's a declaration, a statement to the world. If you think mountains can stop us, think again. This project restored full navigation along the Wujiang River, a waterway once choked off by steep mountains and unforgiving terrain. Today, it's been reborn as a golden waterway, directly connecting Guizhou province to the Yangtze River, the jugular vein of China's economy. Think about what that means. The Yangtze already carries more cargo than the Panama Canal and the Suez Canal combined. By linking Guizhou to it, China effectively plugged one of its poorest, most isolated provinces into the bloodstream of world trade. Annual freight capacity, 5 million tons. That's the equivalent of replacing over 200,000 truck trips every single year. And here's where the comparisons get brutal. In America, trucks are king. A standard U.S. truck hauls 23 tons. A single barge on the Wujiang, 500 tons. Do the math. One ship lift operation wipes out the need for 20 truckloads. Multiply that by thousands of trips, and you see why China bets big on water transport. Trucks and highways through Guizhou's jagged mountains? Nearly impossible. Railways? Costly and less fuel efficient. But ships on a controlled river? That's efficiency at scale. The International Shipping Association even described the system as redefining the possibilities of inland navigation. That's diplomatic code for nobody else is doing this. Nobody else even dares. Yes, there are drawbacks. The lift handles only one vessel at a time, which means queues can form, and throughput will never rival a lock system handling dozens of ships in sequence. But here's the key. What seemed like an impossible dead-end route is now alive. China traded perfection for possibility, and in return opened an economic superhighway where none existed. Western observers often miss this point. They focus on efficiency metrics, charts, and traffic data. But China's calculus is different. For Beijing, this isn't just about faster shipping. It's about making Guizhou matter, transforming a mountainous inland province into a participant in national and global trade. And when you think about it that way, the $7.7 billion price tag suddenly looks like a bargain. Now let's dive even deeper into the raw mechanics, because this ship lift isn't just one elevator, it's three. The first stage pulls vessels up from the lower river to a mid-level platform. The second stage pushes them even higher, 130 meters above the water surface. And finally, the third stage adjusts depending on the dam's levels, with a maximum lowering height of 47 meters. Add it all together, and you've got a total elevation change of 199 meters. That's taller than two space shuttles stacked nose to tail, taller than the Seattle Space Needle, and nearly twice the height of the Statue of Liberty. Here's how it feels. The ship glides in, waits, and suddenly the water beneath it starts to climb. Steel cables strain, gears grind. The chamber, 40 meters long, 12 meters wide, carrying up to 500 tons of vessel, rises slowly, like a skyscraper elevator built for giants. To passengers on board, it's surreal. You're not sailing a river, you're flying through the mountains. And here's the twist. The designers claim this beast can lift or lower a ship in about 10 minutes per chamber under optimal conditions. That's staggering when you realize we're talking about a floating box of steel and water weighing 18,800 tons, more than 2 Eiffel Towers, moving with surgical precision. Even more mind-bending, this system adjusts dynamically to water levels. Depending on seasonal flows, the maximum lift can reach 200 meters. Imagine being on deck and realizing your vessel just climbed higher than most skyscrapers in Chicago. But with greatness comes limitations. The lift handles only one ship at a time. That means bottlenecks. Long queues can form as vessels wait their turn. Yet even here, Chinese engineers built in efficiency. The moment one ship clears, another begins its ascent. No wasted motion. Western engineers argue that traditional multi-stage locks handle traffic better. They're not wrong. But try building locks in Guizhou's cliffs and ravines. It's nearly impossible. China chose the only option: brute force engineering on a vertical scale. The result is not perfect, but it works. And more importantly, it works where nothing else could. Traditionally, rivers with sharp elevation drops are considered non-navigable. Engineers use locks, step by step, water chambers raising and lowering vessels gradually. It's slow, but it works. The problem? Guizhou's mountains laugh in the face of tradition. Here, the cliffs are too steep, the valleys too narrow. Building a conventional multi-lock system would have been a nightmare of blasting, tunneling, and astronomical costs. So China went a different route. Instead of dozens of locks, they built an open water conduit that threads between the mountains, connecting the three massive elevators. On paper, that sounds simple. In reality, it meant carving a 2.3-kilometer passage straight through hard rock, channeling an artificial river across unforgiving terrain. Ancient civilizations built aqueducts. China built one for ships. Think about the scale of that decision. This wasn't just an engineering project. It was an act of defiance against geography itself. Using giant tunnel-boring machines and precision blasting, Chinese crews dug relentlessly until the mountains yielded. The result, a smooth waterway that ties together the lift system like arteries feeding a heart. And the price? A staggering $7.775 billion. But here's the thing, compare that to alternatives. Roads through these mountains would require endless viaducts, switchbacks, and dangerous cliffside bridges. Railways face the same cost spiral. Trucks, each hauls just 23 tons. A single barge moved by the Goupitan lift, 500 tons. That's like replacing 20 semi-trailers in one shot. Efficiency isn't just about speed, it's about volume. And by building this system, China gave Guizhou something it never had before, a safe, high-capacity artery straight into the Yangtze trade network. That's not local development, that's economic resurrection. Critics in the West might scoff at the inefficiencies, the single-ship bottlenecks, the massive upfront costs. But what they miss is the bigger picture. This wasn't about building the perfect machine. It was about building the only machine that could conquer this terrain and make inland shipping viable at all. And once again, China proved willing to spend billions, take risks, and execute projects others wouldn't even attempt. What we've just witnessed isn't a dam. It isn't just a ship lift. It's a declaration of intent. China about proving to the world that China can tame geography itself. What wonders do you think China's infrastructure will create in the next decade? Share your thoughts in the comments. Finally, don't forget to subscribe, ring the bell, and join us next time on Superbuild. See you in the next video.